Sarah Vine. Is it so bonkers to see Charles as Britain's first Republican king? Hardly surprising, when you think about it, that the incendiary mob rampaging through France has it in for King Charles. They're up in arms at the thought of raising the retirement age from 62 to 64, and here's a man who's taking on a huge job and a punishing new work schedule at the age of 74. The last thing these leftist zealots want is to be made to look like lazy slackers by a man they have traditionally cast as an idol, blood-sucking leech. Not that any of that justifies the threats. Mort au roi, death to the king, scrawled in red graffiti in the Place de la Concorde in Paris, scene, of course, of Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette's execution in 1793, or Charles III, do you know the guillotine? Strong stuff, even by the loathsome standards of the hard left. Nevertheless, it was not Charles but Emmanuel Macron who caved into the mob, postponing the king's state visit. Still, I can't help feeling there's a certain irony in all this. In the fact that arguably the most progressive monarch Britain has ever seen is being cancelled by a leftist mob. Lately especially, as Charles has taken swift and determined steps to pursue his agenda of a slimmed-down monarchy. Indeed, part of me has started to wonder, is Charles III our first Republican king? I'm joking, of course, but perhaps the question is not entirely bonkers. Charles understands the criticisms of the monarchy, and why some are set against it in principle. Like his father, he's a radical traditionalist, someone who believes in the institution but who doesn't necessarily approve of past practices. Also, he's intent on ensuring it earns and deserves its privileges and, perhaps most importantly, evolves into an institution that can survive and thrive in the modern world. That's not to say he doesn't enjoy the trappings. While his mother was very much a 3-bar heater and Tupperware sort, he likes his creature comforts. But he believes the rewards of his royal position should be well earned, and despite being someone who has lived all his life in a bubble of privilege, he is not, like some family members, an exclusionist snob who takes advantage of his royal status for personal gain. Hence, for example, his decision to evict the troublesome Prince Harry from his grace and favor Frogmore Cottage just days after the publication of his memoir, Spare.